bring you a video on how to tell if a modeling agency or if a person representing a modeling agency is legitimate. And I get a lot of questions about this. I've been approached by illegitimate modeling agencies. I've been approached by professional modeling agencies. And I understand that when starting out, it's really hard to navigate the modeling world. There's a lot of dangerous things. There's a lot of deceptive people. As with other fields of work as well. But I really do want to put it out there, just a couple of tips to help someone who's starting out or someone who thinks of starting out, and just trying to give you those tips and tricks so that you start off on the right foot and don't get caught up in anything too dangerous. The first thing that you should know is that no modeling agency should be asking you for money off the top. Now there are programs such as Barbizon, which are like modeling boot camps. ExploreModeling.com has a modeling boot camp as well. That's different. A modeling boot camp is something that's going to train you to be a professional, something that's going to give you the tools and tricks that you need so that when you approach an agency or when an agency approaches you, you know how to walk, you know your good angles, you kind of understand the industry and where you belong in it. But if a modeling agency, not a boot camp agency, comes to you and says, well, pay us a ton of money and we'll get you set up with some of our agents, that is probably illegitimate. How modeling agencies work is that they sign a contract with a model and they agree to take 20, 40, or 50% or whatever percent that you agree on of the model's work. So if the model doesn't get work, the agency doesn't get paid. And that way, you have to get paid in order for the agency to get paid, which is why they have the incentive to book you work. Now, if a modeling agency all of a sudden comes up to you and says, hey, pay me money and I'll put you on my board, it's probably not the best idea, because if they're actually going to be booking you work, then you should get a cut of that too, instead of paying to them immediately. Now, there are ways to get comp cards and, professional headshots. Sometimes agencies want to charge you for those, but there are a lot of places to get professional headshots done for free or for a less amount of money, and there are a lot of websites that actually do comp cards for free or for a small charge. One of my favorites is Explore Modeling. As you know, I've been booked on gigs by Explore Modeling before, and I believe they're doing Miami Fashion Week this week, and they actually have a program where they help you put together your comp cards as well. Something like that you can't expect to pay for. Some agencies will cover it, others won't. But what's great is that nowadays everything is so digital. I don't even use my comp cards. I just use an iPad that has all of my images on it. Traditionally, you would go and you would show your comp card and your details on there, but now you can just send everything online or bring in an iPad, and it's much easier. So you do have both of those options available to you, some which an agency will charge you for and some which an agency won't. The other thing that you should look for is if the modeling agency has a reputation. Have they booked work for people in the past? Do they have a website? Is their email like models@gmail.com or models@yahoo.com? Because that's probably not professional. You should look to make sure that their email is linked to their website. And also 99% of modeling agencies have a book that shows their models or an online portfolio. If they don't have a website, then it's going to be pretty hard for advertisers to find them and their models. So make sure that they do have a website and that they represent a staff of models. Some agencies choose not to show their models, but some big agencies decide not to post all of their models and their details publicly. You may need a password to log in, but many times that can be a legitimate modeling agency. But if you go to the modeling agency and they have like 2 models and the shots aren't professional, then you should probably be aware. That's another thing you can look for is professional headshots, is professional photos. It also depends on what kind of modeling you want to get into. And if you want to get into commercial, you're going to see a lot of lifestyle shots and maybe some catalog. If you want to get into high fashion, you're going to see high fashion shots. And you should know what kind of modeling you're geared for. Are you interested in swimwear or glamour? Are you interested in high fashion? Are you interested in commercial? And that's why a mother agency can help you, or a modeling boot camp. A mother agency is basically an agency that sets you up with another agency. Explore Modeling is one that does that online. And so through that mother agency or through that modeling boot camp, you should know what kind of modeling you're geared for. Now, you don't need to be a professional model or even have modeling experience to get a modeling job or get signed with an agency. When it comes to that, a lot of people think that they have to be professional and everything. That's really not the case. It is a good idea to familiarize yourself with the industry, understand how it works, understand the dangers, understand the not so dangerous parts, understand what's expected of you, understand what category you fit into, what your best side is, and how to take photos and things like that. But it is not necessary that you are a professional model or that you have any experience. Many times you do not even need professional headshots. You just need to show them a couple photos of you, and usually the agency will build that portfolio of looks for you. Now, there are many reputable modeling workshops out there. 3 that I would recommend are Barbizon. Barbizon is really expensive though, and they don't always set you up with gigs. They teach you though. Charleston Pierce is someone who I went to in San Francisco. He's wonderful. What I liked about him is his was more of a runway boot camp. It wasn't a full-on commercial modeling, but it was acting and a little bit of runway. And then exploremodeling.com, what I like about them is that theirs is actually online. Barbizon and Charleston, you have to actually go into the location. Explore Modeling is actually one that they're doing online right now, and I think that they have classes in New Jersey too, but don't quote me on that because I really don't know. I know that they're doing signups online, but it's like an online video class. And basically through all of these, you learn what looks are best, what your angles are, etc. So that when you do approach an agency, you have a more likely chance of getting booked because you know your best angles and you know what you're talking about. Something else you should also be careful of is if they want to set up a test shoot, that's totally fine. A test shoot is totally regular. But if they say not to bring a parent or a friend or that it's not allowed, you should always be able to bring someone with you, and if you're not allowed to, then they're probably trying to do something to you or pressure you into doing something that you're not completely comfortable doing. Now, it is possible that they don't want anyone else in there talking to you or, distracting you. They may ask that person to wait outside of the room or behind a wall so that they're not distracting you so you aren't nervous because of them. Things like that. And it also could be copyright issues. They don't want you taking photos because you're not allowed to, because someone else is paying for those images so that they're not going to be anywhere else. So that could happen, but you should always be able to travel with someone or take someone with you up into the point of shooting, and they can wait outside or in another room, but usually it's not a problem. And if it is, they're probably trying to either do something to you that they shouldn't be, or trying to influence you to do something that you wouldn't normally do. Because there could be a lot of people with a lot of pressure. So keep that in mind. Also, depending on what kind of modeling you're getting into, be very careful of people asking you to do things that you are not comfortable with. If you are not comfortable posing in a certain position, if you are not comfortable taking off a certain article of clothing, be very careful not to let that happen. Now, if you're going into glamour or if you're going into things of that nature, that could be a little bit different because glamour is a lot of time, involves wearing little to nothing. And even sometimes in high fashion, but you should never be doing that in commercial or even in beauty. And if they're asking you to, if you're not comfortable with it, then you should not be doing it. Now, sometimes Vogue will post nude art, which is a little bit different. I mean, it's Vogue. If it's a very reputable agency and a very reputable campaign that you already know is reputable, it's been on newsstands, that's one thing. But if it's someone, this is your first time shooting with them, or this is the first time you're kind of getting used to it, you really do have to be careful. And don't do anything that you're not comfortable with, and don't let anyone pressure you or pay you to do something that you are not comfortable with. And the modeling industry can be very scary in that respect, because I know tons of photographers, male and female, that try to find people who are starting and say, hey, I'll take photos for you for free for your portfolio. And they try to get photos that are explicit or not the kind of modeling that you're trying to get into. Like if you're trying to get into commercial, they'll try to take photos of you that aren't really appropriate for commercial and use that in their own ways, and it doesn't really help you, it hurts you. So always be very careful, and even if it sounds like a great opportunity, you get free photos, whatever, just think of what the other person has in mind for themselves. Why would they be doing this for you? So just be very careful of that, and always consult someone else. It's good to find a mentor or an advisor, someone who's been through the modeling industry. Find someone else who understands it, who can guide you and really teach you. And that's why it's great to go to a mother agency or Charleston Pierce or Barbizon or Explore Modeling. Because they can do that. And I will actually put all of those links in the bottom tab. Charleston Pierce mainly does runway, he's in San Francisco. Barbizon has a couple of locations. They do commercial and pageants and things like that. Explore Modeling is online, so that's for everyone, everywhere. It's also a lot less expensive. Barbizon is the most expensive. Charleston is kind of midline. And I think Explore Modeling is just a one-time payment, and you get like a 6-week boot camp. I can actually look it up for you. Let me see. But But I've personally worked with Charleston and Explore Modeling, so I can actually recommend them to you. I've actually done a magazine photo shoot with Explore Modeling and a couple of fashion shows with Explore Modeling, and with Charleston and a couple of local shows and photo shoots as well. And his is a lot of work camps and boot camps and things, so a lot of commercials with him as well. Charleston has been a Macy's model for 30 years and he's super professional. Christina DeHart is who runs Explore Modeling. She's been a model for I think 30 years as well, it might be 20, but she's worked all over the world. She's done ads like e.l.f., she's done high fashion, she's done commercial, a whole bunch of things. So I will show you some of the things that I personally shot with Charleston and that I personally shot with Christina. I'll show you those now. Now, I don't know enough about Barbizon. I personally never went to Barbizon. I've had friends that went and they loved it. I've had others that went and they weren't such a fan of it. So I can't really vouch for them, but definitely look into it if you're around a Barbizon or if it's something that interests you. What I also like about Charleston and Christina is that they accept people of all sizes and shapes. I know that Barbizon is very, very specific because they mainly do pageant and commercial. They're a little bit more specific, and that's a misconception. Everyone thinks that models have to be a certain body shape or a certain look, which is totally not true. Because if you look at Safeway, they're not using all stick-thin models or models with huge boobs. They're using real people to promote Safeway, HP printers, you know, Snuggies, all sorts of things. So don't think that you have to be a specific type. And that's what I love about Charleston and Christina. Christina's work camp is specifically for everybody, and it tells you which kind of modeling you're probably geared for. She accepts everyone, and same with Charleston. He does not discriminate by body shape, size, age, type, anything like that, because models can be found anywhere. So yeah, those are some ways to tell if a modeling agency is reputable or not. Those are 3 that I know of. If you know of other agencies that you've been thinking about or boot camps that you've been thinking about, I'm sorry, I said agencies, feel free to leave them in the comments if you have questions, and I'll do my best to look them over for you and tell you if I think they're reputable or not. Feel free to ask other mentors, and if you have any other questions about modeling, about skincare, about anything, about fashion, about anything, then be sure to ask me. So all the links will be provided below. I'll link you to some of my old modeling videos to try to help you out. And yeah, I love you all very much, and I cannot wait to talk to y'all soon. Love you guys. Bye.